is a 1964 legislation which was amended in 1975. Yan. Anong kailangan nyo alamin tungkol sa batas? Ano bang ibig sabihin, ma'am, ng unclaimed balances? Unclaimed balances. Okay? So, elements of unclaimed balances, to make it as an unclaimed balances, no? It includes credits or deposits of. So, hindi lang siya pera. Kasama dyan, bullion, mga gold bullions. Security. Other evidence of indebtedness of any kind and interest thereon. So, evidence of indebtedness, no? Which is also a kind of security if you are to go back to the definition of security under Securities Regulations Code. So, ang sakop ng batas ay mas broader. Hindi lang siya peso deposit, hindi lang siya foreign currency deposit, pati to include ito. Okay? Yan po yan. Yan si UBA. Ano pa po? Okay, the credit or deposit is made kanino? With banks? Hindi lang po banks. Sabi dito, also made with buildings and loan associations and trust corporations. Again, mas malaki ang sakop. Hindi lang with the banks, but also to include buildings and loan associations and trust corporations. Another element, the credit or deposit is in favor of any person known to be, okay, kasi yung nag-deposit noon ay patay na, o dila kaya ay, sabi, has not made further deposits or withdrawals during the preceding 10 years or more. Qualifier po natin, what would make it unclaimed balances? Ito pong elementong ito. Mga elementong ito. Okay? All the elements must be present. Okay, kung hindi man siya patay, ay ito, walang activity nangyayari within this period of time. Distinguish and claim balances with dormant accounts. Ang dormant accounts naman po ay ito. Bank accounts in the form of either savings accounts or checking accounts that have not shown activity. Okay, for a certain period of time. Okay, pag definition pa lang, talaga mas broader yung scope ng term na dinefine natin a while back. Yung claim balances, ito very limited to this particular items only and for a certain period of time. Dormant accounts. An update of October 2016, the BSP said banks must give 3 notices to dormant accounts. Pag ikay may account with a bank and it's already dormant, okay, kailangan kang bigyan ng 3 notices daw ng bangko. Kasi of course, bakit? Kasi pag dormant account yan, may fee. Okay, parang storage yan, di ba? Yan. So, potential dormancy prior to the commencement of the dormancy period, the charging of the fee, and another notification if such account will now be subject matter of an exit proceedings under the UBA. Okay, yan yung tatlong notification na kailangang ibigay. How is it done, the notification? The depositor must be notified through postal mail, courier delivery, o sinakop na dito, sinabi na, email, electronic, telephone, or other means when at least 60 days before the deposit becomes dormant and at least 60 days prior to the charging of dormancy fees. If we are to refer it to, remember, tatlong notification, okay, when is notification, the first notification requirement and the second notification requirement, parehas yan ng at least 60 days prior to it. Yan. Ito pa, at least 60 days. So still, pag escheat yung tinatanong. Under Circular 928, magkano? Not more than 30 can be imposed only under 3 conditions. Okay. Anyway, this circular of the BSP has been amended, okay, and has also recognized the right of the bank to impose the dormancy fee that they can actually give. Okay, so this is subject matter of course, the most recent regulation which can be found under the most current manual of MO, Manual of Regulation of Banking Institutions, MORBI, Manual of Regulations of Banking Institutions. And so yung takeaway natin dito, pag dormant yan, kahit paano, subject to notification requirements kasi procedural due process. And of course, dahil may burden, no, kabawasan, yung pag-i-impose ng fee, kailangan malaman din po ng nagmamay-ari ng unclaimed balances. What's the rationale behind this requirement? Dormant accounts are booked by banks in separate ledgers. And it's subject to more stringent controls, custodianship, and reporting requirements to prevent the accounts from being taken advantage of through spurious or forged claims. So, may special cost, may additional cost. Bakit mas binabantayan itong dormant accounts? Kasi it's over dormant accounts that will now become unclaimed balances that will be subjected to the operation of UBA, which essentially ends with the SCHIT in favor of the government. So, a caveat, ang sabi dito, dormancy does not alter the fact that the subject deposits remain to be liabilities of the bank. Kasi hindi naman talaga sa banko yan, di ba? Such deposit arose from a contractual relationship between the bank and the depositor wherein the bank's debtor has obliged itself to pay back the depositor or creditor. Thus, unless title over the deposit has been vested on the state through a SCHIT, okay, the depositor has the perfect right to either reactivate or withdraw the funds in his or her capacity as owner. Okay? Kaya ilagay muna natin sa separate book habang chinecheck natin talagang namatay na ba o bakit walang activity within this period of time, di ba? Yan. So, how can it be recovered? Okay. Sakaling buhay pa naman pero talagang, okay, o baka lumabas ng bansa. Tapos after how many years saka bumalik, di ba? Compliance with all the requirements so that the depositor may duly establish the genuineness and the authenticity of his or her claim. Siya yun, talaga may-ari ng account na yun. Okay, so dormant accounts, pag itong period of dormancy is here 10 years and more than 10 years, no unclaimed balances, it will now become unclaimed balances and will be subject of a SCHIT in favor of the government. Okay. So in the case of 2012 RCBC versus High-Tri, if after the proceedings, the property remains without a lawful owner interested to claim it, the property shall be reverted to the state to forestall an open invitation to self-service by the first comers. Okay, so hindi yan magiging automatic na pagmamayari po ng bangko. Okay, kanino po pupunta? By operation of law, but it has to undergo procedure. Ito po, pupunta yan sa gobyerno. However, if interested parties have come forward and laid claim to the property, the courts shall determine whether the credit or the deposit should pass to the claimants or be forfeited in favor of the state. Yan. So what can be done by the depositor? Okay, the appropriate recourse for the depositor to do is to follow up the status of the account, and if no judgment of his cheat is issued yet, to file the legal documents and prove before the court his or her entitlement to the recovery and withdrawal of the deposit. Kasi siya nga naman talaga dapat yung may-ari, no? And so, ano yung duties po ng mga institusyong ito? Banks, building and loan associations, trust companies. Their duty under UBA is to submit to the Treasurer of the Philippines in January of every odd year. Okay, 2020 is not an odd year, so January of 2021 is an odd year. Okay, such list of unclaimed balances. So may inventory ang mga ito na ibibigay po sa ating Treasurer of the Philippines Bureau of Treasury ng unclaimed balances, and this should be under oath. Okay, the Treasurer will then submit to the Solicitor General yung listahan. Then the Solicitor General to file a petition in court so that a judgment be issued declaring the unclaimed balances to have been treated in favor of the government. Sino ba si Solicitor General? Siya po yung abogado po ng state, ng government. Yan. So, other duties under the law. Okay. If the president, the cashier, or the managing officer of the bank, building loan association, or trust corporation neglects or refuses to make and file the sworn statement required by this action, okay, such bank or building loan association or trust corporation shall pay, may fine po, shall pay to the government the sum of 500 pesos a month for each month or fraction thereof during which such default shall continue. So, fine lang naman po. I just don't know if this amount of 500 pesos has been amended or changed under the MORB. Okay? But this is what the provision of the law is, and the legislation is in 1991. So, 20 years. 30 years, no? So, baka malamang may change sa MORB. So, when title vests to the state, during the estate proceeding, title to the unclaimed balances would vest to the state only upon finality, that the state judgment shall become final. Not automatic that the depositor would lose ownership over the deposit by the mere fact that it has been dormant or inactive for 10 years. Kahit na nanalo pa si state dito sa estate proceeding, yung period of finality na to, pwede pang i-contest, pwede pang makarecover pag biglang lumabas si may-ari ng deposit, no? So, consumer protection framework, banks to make public the fees they impose on loans, remittances, and retail deposit products and services, not only on their official websites, but also in conspicuous places in all their banking units. Okay, alam po sa mga depositing public kung ano man po yung mga fees na sinisingil ninyo. Okay, the purpose of the law or the purpose of the requirement is to allow consumers to compare the fees and to manifest their objections. And so may power na binibigay po sa publiko. It's the rationale behind the law. I believe, okay, this will be the last portion of this part 3 of our banking law series, no? Be able to answer the following. Number 8,